Good morning, everybody. This is John. This is Elite Gamers United, and today we are going to be talking about Final Fantasy Adventure for the Game Boy, released in 1991. So I'm going to just start and get this out of the way. I never had this game on Game Boy. I played it through the collection of Mana on the Switch. Same game, nothing changed, nothing added, nothing taken away. So let's start. I'm going to hang out down over here. Gameplay, trivia. Alright, also, I know I got a couple new subscribers. It doesn't say who you are, but thank you guys anyway. I want to start by talking about the story. This is the early 90s. Super crazy, in-depth stories were like from big RPGs were not quite there yet. But they had depth. This game is about a boy fighting his way out of the Dark Lord's capture and finding out he is the descendant of a legendary Gemma Knight, and he has to rise to meet his destiny, defeat the Dark Lord, save the Mana Tree, and have a nice happy ending. Alright, this is the first game in the Mana series, also known as Seiken Densetsu, or Final Fantasy spin-off, Final Fantasy Adventure. I want to first jump into it with the visuals. This is a Game Boy game, so now we can't hold it to comparison against things from Super Nintendo, NES. We gotta look at it against other Game Boy games. So, I took a look at these graphics, and I'll tell you, they get the job done. You can tell when you're in a grassy field. You can tell when you're in a desert. You can tell when you're in a cave. You can tell when you're in a dungeon. You can tell when you're in the snowy mountains up north. The world is designed nicely. It's a pretty big world too. The towns don't look too different from one another. That was one thing that kind of disappointed me. But again, take it for what it is. One of the biggest surprises that really made me smile was that some of these character sprites, specifically your main character, is used in a couple of the early Final Fantasy games, except the color, of course. And some of the elements in the environment, some statues. You'll notice one particular statue. That statue is used in the castle in Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. But I don't think it was that uncommon to do asset swaps or to use certain things from certain games and other games back then. But I'm not going into that. I think it was pretty cool. Visually, this game has oomph. It has nice character design. The secondary characters that join you can tell them all apart. Everybody is unique. The simplified dialogue gets the personalities across from these characters. I think it's a nice looking Game Boy game. Visually distinct. It does have its own identity. It's not trying to be something it's not. It's not copying anything. I think this... I don't want to say it yet, so we'll get to that after. Alright, now, the sound, the music, the sound effects. The music is very, very good. One of the few Game Boy games that I actually enjoyed the music that's not one of the Legend of Zelda games. The sound effects, they're cute. They have that little pop to them. The weapons all have individual sounds, from the sword to the ball and chain to the mace to the whips, to your spells. Again, there's not too much you can say about a 1-bit sound memory, but it's the music is nice. The sound effects are nice. There's no voiceovers, so you modern gamers that think that Game Boy had voice acting, no. Okay. Aside from the visuals being nice and the sounds nice, how does the game play? Okay, so it's an action RPG, and with that, you have to, when you throw the RPG element in, you do a lot of menu jumping. This game, with only 2 buttons, you have your magic or your item, which are mapped to the same button, and I'll get to that in a second. And then you have your attack, your regular attack, which is based off your stamina. The higher your stamina gauge on the bottom, the more powerful the attack. When it maxes out, you'll do a super attack, etc., etc. The game, I think, was outdated from the moment it came out, and I'll tell you why. To switch your items, to switch your magic, you have to go into the inventory every time, and it drags the game down and adds an unnecessary amount of time spent navigating through menus. It's a pain in the balls. It irritated me. There were better ways that this could have been done, but again, it was the early 90s. You're going to spend a lot of time in the menus switching for items, switching for magic items, switching for healing items, switching for utility items. For example, a magic to break walls until you get a weapon later on that actually lets you do it. Aside from the inventory, the game is fun. You will enjoy exploring this world. You'll enjoy the dungeons. You'll enjoy the bosses. You will not enjoy a couple of obtuse, out there puzzles. For example, one puzzle, you have to get the clue from a kid in town, and he tells you something about a figure 8. About drawing an 8 around 2 bushes. I had to look up what the fuck that meant. There's 2 bushes outside of a cave. You gotta walk a figure 8 around them to get the cave door to open. It's shit like that that wouldn't fly in a game nowadays. There's a difference between clever puzzle and what's the word I'm looking for? And between clever puzzle design and obtuse, irritating bullshit. That's obtuse, irritating bullshit. But once you get past that part, and I had to use a walkthrough online to fucking figure out where the fuck I gotta do this. It's ridiculous. But you know what? It didn't take away my enjoyment of the game because those puzzles were few and far between. There was only 2, maybe 3. And that was it. So I'll give it forgiveness for that. I want to say, I enjoyed this game from beginning to end. It is a lot of fun. The menu jumping, okay, once you get past that, and you get past a few odd-ass, off-the-wall puzzles, you'll find that this is a very clever, very fun, very charming game, and I'll tell you what. The dialogue actually made me feel for these characters. They're spoken, even though it's straight and to the point, probably due to translation. I felt emotion from these characters, and by the time the end credits rolled, I'm dead serious, I'm not bullshitting you, a Game Boy game made a teardrop from my eye. Alright? So to answer my question in the beginning, can a Game Boy game evoke emotion? Oh yes it can. Final Fantasy Adventure did it for me. So I do recommend, if you want to check out a good action RPG from yesteryear, it's available on the collection of Mana. There have been remakes since, but give it a shot. If you want to see the very first Mana game or one of the first Final Fantasy spin-offs, this is what you got to look at. And games like this are influenced to this very day. I say spend the money, get the collection of Mana game. Check it out. You got Secret of Mana right after it, and then Trials of Mana, the original, and then we have the remake on PS4. I'll touch on those games later on. I gotta finish them first. But I can say I truly enjoyed it, minus a few little hiccups. Some people may or may not have the patience for it. Anyway, I hope this has been a helpful review in deciding if you should check out this Game Boy Classic, which actually back in '98 was re-released under Sunsoft's publication on the Game Boy, along with the Final Fantasy Legend 2 and 3. Anyway, I just wanted to say I enjoyed the game. Check it out. You can probably bang it out 10 to 20 hours, maybe a little more, depending on how much menu jumping you do. Anyway, I'm John. This is Elite Gamers United, and I will see you later in the week. I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you, everybody.